I'm returning to some preventive maintenance on this dryer some 2.5 years after the last repair. It's still working fine, but I remembered that in 4 years the bearing supporting the dryer drum had worn through, and it cost excessive amount of money for the repair, and then the repairman didn't do a very good job, so I'm going to look at it again to see if it needs work. This time I started my repairs at the top by removing the entire top panel, which had 3 screws on the back and 8 screws on the top, and then I replaced this half panel since I remembered that the unit tends to be fragile once the lid is completely removed and taken apart. I can see here my repair from last time where I put in the bearing strips and then adhered them in place with this self-adhesive aluminum tape. And all the pieces are still in place. I'll just inspect to see how much they've worn in the ensuing 2.5 years of use. So inspecting the bearings, as they're called, these plastic strips. Here's the bottom one. Well, as you're facing the front of the door, this would be the left side. You know, maybe half of it's worn through in 2.5 years. So this is very often a 4-person household, so you can get the idea of how much laundry. This one's worn through less than half. And this one may be halfway through. And this corner is probably worn through more than halfway through. So the first round of this dryer, the original installed strips lasted for 4 years before it actually wore substantially through the housing, through this plastic frame here, so maybe they weren't aligned properly to start off with. And I know these were aligned properly because you can see they're still taped on the way I taped them on 2.5 years ago. So here's the parts I'm replacing. None of them worn through, some of them worn over 50% through, others barely worn through. The replacement parts, in 2018 they were less than $20 total when I had pre-ordered them prior to the repair people coming. This time I ordered them directly from Sears Parts Direct, which surprised me because the Sears stores are not open. But Sears Parts Direct, I was able to get these. They were all right around $10, and for the 4 of these strips it totaled about $45. Here, putting in the replacement bearing strips and holding them down with self-adhesive aluminum tape. I'll plan on putting the part numbers in the narrative section below this video frame. So the tape is not quite holding them flat, but they're not arcing up too much. I think I should be able to get this back in place with them sitting relatively flat, and I'll be able to visualize it before I do the final assembly. Getting the door hung back on its hooks is not an easy procedure. But as you can see here, The strips are now in place. So I can expect another 2.5 years of functioning before having to replace these again. To get the full reassembly instructions, disassembly, reassembly instructions, I'll reference the 2018 video of the same subject in the narrative section below this video frame.